Hello. Good afternoon. Lots of things going on behind the scenes here. Hope you're well. I am well. I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds since starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. I hope, hello, Sunshine 313P. Well, welcome to the Baconators, a member of the Go Keto with Casey Club on YouTube. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Lily Gordon says, hi. Um, okay, I'm assuming that means you can see and hear me. It's always a wonder. I never know what's going to happen. Today's topic is, it's actually the title on the thumbnail. It's not what I originally was planning on, but I frankly couldn't fit on the thumbnail easily what I wanted to say. You know how you will hear people say, maybe you've heard this yourself. If something is so great, why doesn't everybody do it? You know, if it really worked, why doesn't everyone do it? Well, it's a legitimate question. So in this case, if the ketogenic protocol works so well, why doesn't everyone do it? Has anyone thought that, heard that? Oh, hello from Germany, Alex G. It is a legitimate question, but it's not really, you can't say it works really well, so everyone will do it. We could say something in the inverse. It's a pretty well-established fact that smoking cigarettes can lead to lung cancer, emphysema, COPD, yellow fingers. So if it's a well-known fact, why does anybody smoke? Well, because sometimes we don't make decisions in our own best interest. We do this all the time. We might be able to notice it more easily when other people are making decisions that are not in their own best interest. It's not always easy for us to see that. But this happens all the time. Let me start out by saying the ketogenic protocol, as I learned it and as I have practiced it since January 8th, 2014, reduce carbohydrate intake to a point where it's 20 grams or fewer a day. Total carbs, not net carbs. Net carbs just means more carbs. So 20 grams total, not net, or fewer a day. If it's not on page 4, link below, don't eat it, but you don't even need a food list. Eat fatty sources of protein, full fat dairy if you can tolerate it, in limited portions, non-starchy vegetables in limited portions, and leafy greens in limited portions. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated, not stop when you're stuffed and about to pop. That's the protocol. Reduce carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day, total not net. If it's not on page 4, don't eat it. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. That will work for virtually everyone. It's very simple, which is not to say that it's easy. Some of us have had many fits and starts with trying to make decisions in our best interest. Some of us have outside influences that are not necessarily geared to seeing us succeed. And why would that be? Well, sometimes our success makes others feel like it shines a bright light on their behavior and their results. Even if no one's paying attention to them, they're paying attention to us. Joking. But it does work. The fact that everyone doesn't do it, that we all don't do it, well, there are a lot of marketing and business enterprises that don't want to see us turning away from grains and processed food and sugar. And no, think of all the companies who are mega billion corporations making what we call junk food. We call it junk, and yet we continue to buy it, eat it, and feed it to our children. Junk. So there are forces that are trying to, and there are a lot of plant-based interests for some philosophical reasons, some religious reasons, and I'm not talking about major religions, I'm talking about not based in science. Let me put it this way. Vegetarians and vegans who live that way because of their beliefs, absolutely, that's fantastic. But when it starts to be imposed from a much higher level, trying to turn people away from the actual nutritious food that is animal based, there's simply more nutrition in beef, poultry, fish, eggs than there is in wheat, soybeans, corn. So if it's so great, why doesn't everyone do it? Well, because sometimes we act against our own better interests. You could probably come up with 10 things off the top of your own heads. Say, oh, yes, I know that I did this, or yes, my cousin does this, or I'm ready to smack my kid upside the head. Oh, dear. My husband, God love him. He manages to come home every Saturday, most Saturdays, right when I'm on this. I'm surprised Jack is not barking, but that will start in a second. So I apologize in advance. Where was I? Oh, against our own best interests. There are outside forces trying to make what is pretty clear evidence that this is a nutritious, healthy way of eating done properly. What you don't need is you don't need a bunch of fat and a bunch of sugar. If you're going to have high fat and high sugar, go have a Dunkin' Donut. Does anybody think Dunkin' Donuts is nutritious? No. It's not a high fat diet. It's simply not a low fat diet. Okay, he's holding off. Jack is holding off very, very well. So we're proud of him. Everyone give him his tail is about. Hold, please. I just told my husband that his timing is impeccable every week. And he gave me the stink eye. So he's putting down things in the background. Live TV. We have people in our personal lives. So we've got our own brain, we've got outside influences on very high levels, making us, trying to tell us no es muy mal comer esta comida. Then we have people in our personal lives who I was having a patron only live stream just before this, and the topic of food pushers came up. And it's a problem. Don't push food on people. By the way, I'm asked every week. Hashtag Casey's pink drink. Glass full of ice. Mostly diet tonic water, a splash of diet cranberry, and a squeeze of lime. That's it. I find it helps me when I'm talking so much. So we have people in our lives that maybe don't want to see us succeed for the reasons noted earlier. They maybe are truly concerned. They believe all the other misinformation that, oh my God, that's going to kill you. You're going to have a heart attack next month if you eat this way. It's simply untrue, based on bad science and political influences and giant egos. Everyone here can probably talk about Ansel Keys and how this whole thing started. If you want a good explanation for how we got in this state with such bad science, 2 very good books, Good Calories, Bad Calories by Gary Taubes, and The Big Fat Surprise by Nina Teicholz. Both of those you can see at my blog under resources. They just explain how we got here. They're not nutrition books. They're talking about how bad science and the political situations of the moment got us here decades ago. So some people around us are truly concerned. It's interesting. Were they that concerned when we were 100 pounds overweight? I never had anyone telling me, do you think that breaded and fried fish and hush puppies and hash browns and fried onion rings, all on the same plate, mind you, is really a good way to go? No one would have said boo to me at that. But I pass on the bread basket. Now, this does not happen to me anymore. And it really didn't happen to a great extent before. You know, I'm capable of making a statement for myself. But listening to other people, "Oh my god, you're not gonna have any bread? What am I how can you have a burger without a bun and no fries?" Well, because I can, because I'm eating the burger, and I'm gonna have some ranch dressing on top of it. So these external influences are a challenge. This is why it is simple, but it's not necessarily easy. That is why there are support groups. I have a private support group at Patreon, where I'm just thrilled and honored to have this group of people in our group. And I will tell you that a quick plug for patrons, some of whom I know are here. Hey, Judy. Judy's lost 130 pounds. She's a farmer. And she was a farmer 130 pounds ago. Amazing. So at Patreon for the support group, depending on your pledge, you get 20 pre-recorded morning snippet videos from me every weekday, no makeup, bed hair, sometimes incoherent, on topics that patrons suggest. A handful of patron-only live streams on Crowdcast and a handful of patron-only video group sessions on Zoom. I don't no longer have the tier for the monthly one-on-ones with me because my calendar is full. So thank you to patrons. But we need support. We need each other because sometimes we can feel like we're the only ones going through this. If this works so great, why am I struggling? Because we struggle. If we look at television programs and sitcoms and the families are so happy and wonderful and supportive and, would lay down, why am I having such trouble with my kids? Well, because it's hard. Because life is not a sitcom, if only. And needing support is not a sign of weakness. Asking for support is a sign of strength. Being tempted is not a sign of weakness. I also send out, hopefully, motivational cards every 3 months or so for patrons at certain levels. Just kind of a little boost. And one of them one month was I can acknowledge temptation without indulging it. Yes, I'm tempted. I'm just not going to buy into it, So if it works so great, why don't we all do it? Because there are a bunch of reasons. Now, I did not, I had several at-bats with low carb over the decades. For those of you who don't know, I was morbidly obese for 30 years. I didn't go from not overweight to morbidly obese. I grew to morbidly obese. But essentially, the trajectory was over from my mid-20s to my mid-50s. And I tried many things. You can see my before photos. They're not even the actual before photos. They're my heavy photos, but I don't have any photos of my heaviest. At my blog, link below. I tried the triathlons. I tried the gym. I never tried Weight Watchers because I was never going to get on a scale in front of anyone, ever. To this day, I don't share what I weigh, not even with my husband, who probably can figure it out. We sleep together, and he has eyeballs and hands, so he can probably figure it out. But it's just one of those things. I share my weight fluctuations day to day with my patrons because I want them to remember the weight fluctuates. I'm weight stable. Today, what was I? I was up 0.5 of a pound, up 0.5 pound from yesterday. Oh, well. And tomorrow might be down 0.8 of a pound. I don't know. If it works so great, why doesn't everyone do it? Well, because, and some people aren't going to do it. There are people I've had quoted to me, people who really wish their uncle or their dad or their brother, whoever, who really need it. They're type 2 diabetic. They are at risk of bad things happening. And the person will say, I'll keep taking the insulin, but I'm not giving up dessert. And there are simply people with that mindset. It's not that they struggle to it. They're just not going to do it. Like people say, well, I'm going to smoke. I smoke. I never expected to live this long anyway. Yeah, it's a weird thing to say. You know, the problem with that kind of attitude is you're not really just making a decision for yourself when you do that. When we do that, I'm going to not be finger pointy. When we do that, we're simply offloading the pain, the expense, the caregiving to other people. You know, I'll keep taking the insulin, but I'm not giving up dessert. By the way, taking insulin does not counter the dessert. You just need more insulin then. Exogenous insulin. Okay, I'm going to eat my dessert, but I'm not giving up dessert. Okay, well then when one of your feet is amputated, you got your dessert in, you're going to have someone taking care of you. Same thing with the smoking. Same thing with the, any other destructive behavior in which we engage. We're not in this by ourselves. There are people around us. And it's pretty unfair. I had a relative who would fly from fairly far away for the very occasional visit. And they were flying, and everyone was here in my area that they were going to visit. But they would fly in to the Charlotte airport because it was $40 cheaper than flying in to the airport here. What did that mean? That meant that he would just have someone come fetch him in Charlotte and drive him back here. He simply offloaded the cost to somebody else. Okay? Think of that. If you're thinking, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm going to do, and if I lose my feet, oh, well, that's on me. No, it's really going to be on a lot of people. Okay, lecture on that over. Let me turn to recap. If it works so great, why doesn't everyone do it? Well, because we have outside influences telling us not to do it incorrectly. We have misinformation all over the place, even within the keto sphere. There's simply incorrect information. I'm sorry, it's incorrect. We have our own self-doubt. We don't want to give up the tortilla chips. I told myself for years, I can't. I know low carb works for me, but I can't see not eating another tortilla chip. Well, I stopped saying that. And then I quit wondering about tortilla chips. And we have just simply, I don't want to do it. Okay. So now, shameless commerce division. Quick. You can find a lot of these products at my Teespring shop below this video, and the rest are at my blog under swag, and one item is at Amazon. But anyway, a mug. Lay off the carbs and lay off the excuses, and then really tiny, Go Keto with Casey on the back. A little image of me, and if I can do this, you can do this, I promise. And a steel water bottle. Go Keto with Casey, and on the back, silly images, and another one of me with a thumbs up. Magnet that reads, are you here out of habit or out of hunger? And below it, if hunger's not the problem, food is not the solution. And then last but not least, and there are other things, there's t-shirts and things. Go Keto with Casey's 12-month record book. It's a journal, it's habit tracker, it's got coloring pages, it's got inspirational things, it's got stuff. Spiral bound at my blog. It's a couple of dollars more expensive, and it'll take longer to get there. You can get the perfect bound version at Amazon. You'll get it faster, a couple bucks cheaper, but the spiral version really will lay flat. So there you go. Shameless commerce diversion. As I say every week, I'm just trying to earn my keep. Now let's talk to two people who are kind enough. And I apologize. Of course, I forgot my mouse. It's on the other side. I'm just going to jump in. Karoo Blue. My cholesterol was 10.1 12 months ago. Now, doing one meal a day, I take one berberine supplement, got my test yesterday, down to 5. So no prescribed meds. Fantastic. Little Crafty Nook. I'm a nurse. I can't tell you how hard it is to take care of severely obese people who are no and or not amputees, who obviously are no longer mobile. And it's difficult on nurses. I mean, you suffer injuries, don't you? I mean, your back and everything. Nancy Freihofer. Once you get on the other side of the carb addiction, what you now eat becomes the normal. At the other stuff fades away. I'm going to tell you, I have a little bit of a quibble with the word addiction. You don't get hospitalized for laying off the carbs. Unlike if you are an alcoholic and addicted to alcohol, sometimes you need to peel off the alcohol under medical supervision. Same thing for narcotics. But you can go cold turkey from carbs and suffer no ill effects. And in fact, in 3 or 4 days, great. So in my opinion, people use the word addiction to kind of give themselves an out. It's behavior. It's behavior. My opinion. And I say this as someone who was super fat. I made every excuse in the book. Ange N writes, I got my spiral notebook, just waiting for my Go Keto with Casey tank. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm not wearing any Go Keto with Casey gear today, but there's a racerback tank top that just says GKWC, Go Keto with Casey, because sometimes you don't want to advertise what you're doing. I mean, there's one that says, I'm stronger than a cookie. That's the bestseller. And we are stronger than cookies. B. Gray. Okay. Somebody must have asked, is it hard and more expensive? No, actually. And it's not my way of doing it. Thank you for the plug, but I just follow the way I learned it. Here's the thing. The food is very satisfying. It's very nutritious. You need less of it to be healthier. Our food bill in our household, and we've been doing this for 7 years, but every year, our grocery expenses have gone down. Right now, if I look, and I keep records every single day of everything, our grocery expenses are down a little over $1,000 for the last 12 months compared to the previous 12 months. And they've been that way. And it's not like, oh, your kids all moved out. Our kids flew the nest, or all 3 of them, a long time ago. And it's not hard. You just have to do it. If you kind of do it, it probably won't work. You need to keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer. Some people can tolerate more. If you can, great. But most people eventually find that, and it's insulin resistance, which is the thing about it. I won't go into what that is. There are lots of good resources for that. Oh, speaking of good resources, and you can register for this at my blog under my schedule. You can, if you follow me on Crowdcast, you can see this on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the 3rd of August at 6:30 Eastern. Dr. Eric Westman and me, he's been holding the Durham support group meeting in person for 10 years, then COVID, so now it's online. I help moderate it with him. Free. It is a registered event. Spaces are limited because I pay for Crowdcast, and over a certain number of attendees, I have to pay back. I have to pay for the number of 10 attendees. So it's limited, but there's lots of space. And you can ask the world expert on the clinical implementation of using a low-carb ketogenic diet to cure type 2 diabetes and treat obesity. And ask away. Questions. And then the Monday after that, if you're in the Greensboro, North Carolina area, on Monday, the second Monday of the month, I have an in-person. I hope I can still do it because we're having a spike all across the country with COVID, but I'm going to see. Go Keto with Casey meetup at Wine Styles at Friendly Center. Also free. I don't collect emails or anything like that. We just talk. And it's half price wine by the glass. Michelle Holtz writes, I've decided to not use the word craving anymore. Going to use logic instead, right, Casey? I was interviewed by someone for a podcast. I don't think it's been published yet. And really good interview, really good interviewer. He asked, what do you think is the best tool that you've used for your success? And I just gave a knee-jerk reaction. And because no one's ever asked me that. You know, it wasn't MyFitnessPal and it wasn't even Page 4. I said it was logic. I've implemented logic, which I didn't do before. Making the excuses, trying the same thing and expecting a different outcome, that's illogical. Also, what's illogical is thinking that pretzels and bread and rice and pasta and Cheerios are high nutrition. It's illogical. And a craving is not a life emergency. Logically, it'll pass. I know this. I'm not going to fade away if I have a craving, air quotes, for whatever it might be. And I don't get they fade. Like I wrote a blog post, and it's it's not particularly clever analogy, but cravings are like stray cats. If you don't want them to come back, don't feed them. And they will eventually find someplace else to go. Okay, Wanda asks, Durham, where are you located? I'm in Danville. The Durham support group meeting, it's called that because it was in Durham. Dr. Westman is at Duke. And so it was in Durham for all these years. Now it's online. So for the Durham support group meeting, if that's what you're talking about, then I'll be right here in my kitchen and he'll be in his apartment. If you're talking about the Greensboro meetup in person, I'm in Greensboro, so not far from Danville. I'm looking to see. I'm looking to see. I see my daughter struggle with alcohol addiction and feel sugar addiction is pretty close. Yeah, again, I'm gonna. Your daughter's not. You're not going to climb up the walls and have the shakes and everything else if you don't eat the Hershey's Kisses. And I ate a lot of food. A lot of food. It's my approach to it. I'd rather not hang that added. People say, oh, it hits the endorphins. Yeah, a lot of things make us happy. Sex, laughing, exercise, roller coasters. A lot of places light up the pleasure centers in our brain. We don't have to be addicted to them. We don't have to say we're addicted to them. I am in Apex. Hashtag my friend Jen lives in Apex. Okay. Love roller coasters, right? Safaria D, will this help with being hungry all the time? Yeah, that's the whole way it works. It's the way it works. You're hungry all the time when you're burning sugar because glucose cannot be stored in our bloodstream. And our brain goes through a lot of it. And so you have to have a fresh supply every 3 hours. When you stop burning glucose for fuel, including our brain, we burn fat for fuel. Brain's happy, burning ketones for fuel, fat. And we're not as hungry. And it is an appetite suppressant. Okay, Safaria, I think you need to do some research. Lay off the carbs. And almost every question I've seen you posed, it'll take care of it. Ange NX, will the cravings go away? I'm 2 months in now. Yeah, particularly if you kind of don't feed them for sure. But if you quit, you just acknowledge them. Oh yeah, Snickers bar would, I like that, but thanks, I'm not going to eat a Snickers bar. And then you find your brain does something else. A Gramsci life. I started keto about 2 weeks ago, lost 16 pounds, went cold turkey on all soda pop I started a gym pass. Yay! And Graham Zeli says, I don't have cravings anymore. That's great. Yolanda Drake Ray writes, Dave S., maybe don't worry so much about the scale. Pay attention to how you feel. Absolutely. Scale should be like number 7 on what's important. Jenny Adriana Garcia Palacio. Ave Maria. Una prima de Pereira, Colombia. ¿Cómo está, mi amor? Fantastic. I was hoping you would show up. Alex G writes, for 8 months, 66 pounds gone, pre-diabetes gone. It's the easiest, air quotes, diet ever. In my way of life now. It's my way of life now, not looking back. It's the way I felt. Once, I was, when it was clear this was working, after I'd lost about 40 pounds, I said, I don't even care if I don't lose any more weight. I am never changing. I felt so much better. My mood was regulated. My joints didn't hurt. And it was not because I'd lost so much weight. My joints hurt because I was inflamed, not because of the pull of gravity on me. Amazing. That is great. Oh, Jenny, I'm so glad you're here. Hola, Amparito. Ayuda a Amparo que no comer los carbohidratos. Ella puede hacerlo. Jenny B writes, stepfather says it's BS that any of his ailments are due to bad food choices. Well, as somebody who does not want to change. All right, I am going to sign off here. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your Saturday. Don't go to my blog, check the schedule, sign up for the free Dr. Westman Durham Support Group meeting. You just click and you register. Follow me on Crowdcast. You'll see all the public stuff I do. If you're in the area, come to the Greensboro Sport. Well, no, it's not Greensboro. It's the Go Keto with Casey meetup at Wine Styles, which I will double check and confirm that it's okay. I don't want anyone to get sick. And that's all I know. So thanks so much. Be safe, be cool, and lay off the carbs. That's it. Give it a try. You've got nothing to lose except for inflammation, weight, bad mood. La-di-da. TTFN. Adios.